Welcome, one and all, to episode 48 of the Megavision Show, the companion podcast to Megavision's magazine. Today is August the 26th, 2020, and I'm Graham, the production editor of Megavisions. With me this week, as always, pretty much, we have Chris, the editor-in-chief of Megavisions, and Scotty Moe, the managing editor of Megavisions. Welcome, guys. Welcome. How's it going?
Going. My quarantine hair has been pissing me off, so I'm going for the cool guy backwards hat look now.
I noticed this. Cool. I noticed the headwear. I like it.
So nice
yeah.
Of you.
Hey.
Wow.
Just do it. I'll just do it like this. This will be how I... Radio DJ Scotty Moe. Coming at you.
I love that it's a PSP hat also.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. I've never seen anyone wear a PSP hat in my entire life.
Yeah, yeah. Fun fact about my life, it's the hat I wore in the very first unboxing I ever did.
Wow. Was it a PSP that you unboxed?
No, it was for a 360 game, and I said how much Sony sucked in it, I think.
Oh, the love is there. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, how are you today? Are you good? Are you well?
I'm good, man. Yeah, I'm really excited. I do want to give a quick magazine update because we've gone a little bit without having any magazine updates since we published issue 9 of the magazine. So people listening, you probably heard, Sketch talk a lot about how he was excited after issue 9 because he wasn't going to be doing any of the layouts anymore. That I would be taking on a lot of that responsibility. So we started actually doing some of the training and stuff on it, but it looks like he's going to have more time in his schedule to be able to actually help back again on more of the design layout stuff. So that's really exciting because it means that I don't have to learn everything in just a month and try to get this magazine out by myself. And so I'm really excited about that. But I am still going to be helping out and doing more on the whole design process and everything. Because I do want to learn all of that. And so, long story short, we're really starting real production on issue 10. A lot of the writers have been submitting their content for issue 10. So we're getting all of that coming in. Our art team is finishing up their pieces for this issue. And then Rob and I, like I said, we're going to be starting actual design and layout here, actually starting later this week. So really exciting that we're really getting some movement on issue 10. It's been a weird time the last few months. I've been transitioning out of the military. Still trying to figure out what life is like with my kids over the summer. And then it's just been a crazy, crazy time. So a lot of that, momentum and progress that we had going has kind of stalled out a little bit because of everything that's going on. But I'm just excited that we're making progress again. We're moving in the right direction. Issue 10 is going to be happening here in the coming months.
Awesome. That's exciting. He's always been on board, but coming back to keep doing that. That's brilliant because he's integral to the look and feel of the magazine as it is right now, and it's great that you're sort of taking up the mantle as well. But yeah, really good. It's in safe hands. I think the readers will be happy to know that. Safe hands.
I will say this for those listening. I'll give you a little hint that I'm not going to say anywhere else about issue 10. So if you're listening, you're going to be the only people hearing it because you're some of our favorite people who listen to this podcast every week. But issue 10 will have a Megavisions first for what we're doing with the cover. With what we're doing with the cover for this upcoming issue, we've never done before.
Ooh.
And it's going to be very exciting. I'm very, very, very excited about it. So for lots of different reasons.
Nude mode.
Graham's terrible with secrets. I would never trust him with something like this.
Yeah, it's probably because I don't know. So, is it about the Dreamcast 2 launch? No. Anyway.
Yeah, that came and went. We covered it.
Outside of that, I can't remember if I talked about it on the last episode or not, but we finally released our first couple episodes of the Bloodsucking Geeks podcast. Really excited about that. We're finally getting out because we'd been basically baking episodes for a while now, and we finally got everything ready to go. So I think the third episode is either going to be coming out this Friday or next Friday. But yeah, so if you're listening and you're interested in horror movies, go and search up the Bloodsucking Geeks podcast. It's basically on all the different podcast platforms, just like our Megavisions show is as well. So, like I said, I do it with a lot of my childhood friends, and it's just a fun time that we get to talk about old horror movies and kind of relive some of our childhood memories and things like that, growing up in a real creepy little town called Crowley, Texas.
I don't like this, Chris. I don't like the thought that you have other friends. And older friends than me.
I want you to be jealous. I know. I will say, Graham, you are my oldest internet friend.
Ah, that's good to know. Good.
That is true. I've not been internet friends with anyone else longer than you. I can't, because it was like 2001. I think we first started.
Yeah.
On the Sega forums.
The Dreamcast was still alive as far as I remember, and it's nearly at the
Scotty,
end.
you had to have been on the Sega forums at some point as well, right?
Like the official ones.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
We were there.
I was probably under the moniker of Duct Taped 32X.
What?
God, I cannot remember that.
I remember back in the day, man, Sega had different. I don't know, like within the forums, they had different sections. One was like consoles, and one was like games or something like that. But people kind of hung out in certain like areas of the old Sega forums. I think my handle back then, it sounds so weird. I don't know why I use this. It was the penal on the Sega forums.
I remember that.
I had different variations. I would go by the Wivel or the penal, and sometimes I would combine it as the penal.
So like
Wivel.
Pokemon evolutions.
I got that name because I remember I was in high school, and my friend, we were in like gym or something, and my friend hit me or something. And I got really mad at him. I couldn't say any curse words because the teacher's right there. So I got so mad. That was the first thing that came out of my mouth. It was the penal Wivel, and we died laughing after I said it. And it just became this thing that we would just call each other every once in a while, like a derogatory term.
Went away and joined the Penal Academy.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think that's cool.
So, hey, shout out to any of those people listening who were OGs on the Sega forums.
Yeah,
back in the early 2000s.
I think my name was Shining Skies on there after Shining Force and Skies of Arcadia just merged together. Shining Skies. Why? What did you think I said?
I don't know. That sounds like a 16-year-old girl's Tumblr handle or something.
That's basically what Graham still is to this day. And we love him for it.
Oh, dear. Anything else going on, Chris? Anything else going on? That's it. But, wow. Okay.
What the hell is this Diet Cherry you have in the...
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was trying to think, like, what's the most exciting thing that's happened to me this week? And I couldn't really come up with a lot of things, except I was like, man, that Route 44 Diet Cherry Limeade from Sonic was amazing yesterday. And so that was like the happiest time of my week, I think.
Wow.
Not to be like, that's not to say that like it's been a downer, but like I get that excited about Diet Cherry Limeades. They make my week. It's the little things, man. It's a changed world we're in. We can't go hanging out anymore in public. Yep. So you got to find the small things in life that just get you through the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I get excited when I drink a orange vanilla Coke. We try not to drink too much soda, but those are pretty good. You'd think it's gross. I also don't like vanilla flavored stuff, so figure that out.
I can't imagine orange Coke though. I can imagine vanilla Coke, but I can't imagine orange Coke.
Well,
it's a creamsicle.
Like Sunkist, or like, what about orange soda? You've never had orange soda?
Yeah, but surely orange... Like
orange, like vanilla cola is what you're saying.
Vanilla cola has the taste of canola.
I just drank a big old cup of canola oil.
Canola.
It's a taste of Coca-Cola or Pepsi Cola. Other cola brands are available of cola and vanilla. So I imagine it's going to have the taste of orange, vanilla, and cola together, like a some sort of weird mashup. So I can't.
I mean, you don't really taste the cola part of it at all. It's very much the vanilla is more of a cream flavor. So if you like cream soda, which I also don't like, you might try this and enjoy it.
Wait, Graham, just wait till the Doritos flavored Mountain Dew comes out.
Oh God!
They're combining both of them.
Doesn't that exist?
No way.
Oh, you're kidding. That's wrong.
I'll look on my phone because if I Google it on my computer, the audio is going to lag out.
The Mountain Dew that tastes like Doritos.
Oh, that's so weird.
There's something. Maybe there. Oh no! You know what? There's a Mountain Dew flavored Doritos.
I was about to say I could imagine that being a thing, the other way around. So Doritos tasting like Mountain Dew.
I had my. I had my average gamer mixed up in my head.
That would be that. I would actually like if Taco Bell wanted to do a Mountain Dew flavored churro, I would be totally down with that.
Okay, interesting.
I swear.
Give me that Taco Bell and rock my world.
Wait a minute.
Well, if Demolition Man's anything to go by in the future, Taco Bell is going to be the only restaurant available. Maybe that'll be a thing then.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Mm-hmm. That is true. We just watched that a few months back. So great movie, man. It still holds up.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for those 3 seashells. I don't.
Oh,
have you ever tried that before, Graham?
I have not, sir. But
you know what? Here's a good test. Just go and buy some 3 seashells and just put them on the back of the toilet. And when your girlfriend goes into the restroom, just see what she does, like when she comes out. Let's see if she's like, "What? Why would you put these 3 seashells?" Or see if she knows what to do with them. You never know. Is she ready for the future?
Well, if she knows what to do with them, she's gonna have to tell me because I'm still baffled by what they do in the movie. Because obviously they never explain it.
I'm sure there's fan fictions or forums. Speaking of forums, I'm sure there's some out there.
I figure you use them as kind of like chopsticks, almost.
See, I imagine a scooping action almost.
You get those to grab anything that's dangling, and then you use the third one to kind of shovel any residue off.
Oh, that's Scotty. What have you been up to? Let's move on.
Nothing. Let's just keep talking about scraping our butts and different Mountain Dews. That's fine for 2 hours.
Man.
Oh wow. Great movie. Love it.
Yeah, I guess I did do some stuff. My weekend was gone because I weathered a fence, and I was going to do the math and I didn't, but I guess it's about 100 feet or so, we'll say, of weathering a fence, and that means literally painting it with a layer of what's called flood. If anyone's ever done this, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and it sucks. And the heat was bad, but not as bad as before. I talked to Graham about it before, how I was doing 2 jobs at once because you use this spray can, the spray gun, to spray the flood on, and then you use a paintbrush to actually spread it adequately on each of the posts. Last time I did it, you're supposed to do it once a year. Last time I did it, it was so humid that I had to literally spray and wipe because it was drying immediately, just in clumps and stuff. Rachel was the painter while I was the sprayer. And it wasn't as bad, but it still took 2 days. So imagine doing squats while you're doing that, because you don't want to screw up your back. So you're doing squats for what do we do? 8 to
cowboy.
8 hours and 5, 13 hours altogether, I guess, or something.
That's some good Karate Kid training right there. Painting the fence,
that's what you do.
Crouching down. Spray on, paint off.
Odin's been making me watch the new Karate Kid. I should say the one with Will Smith's kid, the newest one.
The Jackie Chan one.
It's the only one I haven't seen.
Yeah.
It's the only one I haven't seen.
It's the best one. It's so good.
It's not, because there's no karate in the entire movie.
Oh my God.
They make a joke about that. They make a joke about how they do in Kung Fu instead. And the fighting in it's actually way more brutal than the original. If you watch the original, it's really naff. It's kind of really crappy, kind of basic, Hollywood style fighting. And this is actually pretty good. The final combat contest thing is some of the punches and kicks they get. I think it looks brilliant. I love that movie. I think it's great.
For the sake of the length of the podcast, I will not retort. I will grant you your opinion, Graham, and we will press on.
Because it's correct, sir. Let's face it.
Oh boy.
Wow. Okay.
Honestly, the worst part of the fence stuff was wearing a mask and also goggles, because that stuff cannot get on your skin. It will dry immediately, and it is bad for you to breathe in, and it burns your eyes. So the worst part was honestly wearing, like, other than a full, probably purposeful getup, I had a mask and goggles, and then this hat, not this hat, but a hat, just because of the sun and everything else. So I put a picture on Instagram if anybody really wants to see.
I hit like.
Yeah, thanks. Besides that, though, I got some pickups, and we're gonna start with this guy. For those that cannot see what I'm showing you, it's the Outrun soundtrack on vinyl. It's actually a combination of the games, because I think there's like 2 tracks in the original game. I'm not sure, but the coolest thing about this, though, is that you actually can switch out the scene. And if you didn't see like my post of it already online and stuff, you can pick different backgrounds to put within the vinyl cover itself. And then the actual LP is a fun mint color.
Ooh, nice.
That's cute.
I like it.
So, but there's so much pastel going on in that original cover. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. It's really cool. And I got it when it came in. Rachel's like, "Where's the car?" And I'm like, "Ferrari owns it, so it's nowhere to be found anymore on most things." Because isn't it a Ferrari? I think that's in Outrun.
Yeah, it's
I think it's Toyota, right?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
It drives me nuts that Sega doesn't just
copyrights.
Why can't Sega just put in a sports car, just a generic sports car, like millions of other games do, or thousands? I don't know how many games are out there.
I think because here's the thing. No, here's the thing though. These guys, these OG Japanese creators, like they are car enthusiasts, and they wanted to make, like they loved the Italian sports cars back then, and I think that was what they wanted to do, is they wanted to make a game featuring these Italian sports cars. No one knew, back in the early and mid 80s that what copyright law and everything was like going to be like, because back then it was nothing like what it is today.
Okay, it's fair. The original Outrun and everything, yes, get that. I totally get that. But like for remakes or later releases and stuff like this, why can't they just put on a red sports car? Like, is anyone really going to care if it's maybe slightly changed and doesn't have the Ferrari badge on it?
I agree with what you're saying. Like if you're talking about like whether you get a car or not in some sort of merchandise thing, like I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
Look at the Horizon Chase games. Horizon Chase Turbo has very clearly licensed but not licensed cars in it. They could get away with it. I wonder if it's something weird like we have the shape of that car trademarked or something,
It's like, I mean, like there's tons of games that use the style of cars and stuff, but just they don't actually have the brand, like the GTA and the
Ridge Racer series.
What was the other one?
And the Rush games. Yeah, Saints Row. The Rush games do that, like San Francisco Rush. They have like Dodge Vipers, like the styling of a Dodge Viper in there, the VW camper van, which is like clearly a VW camper van, but no, it's yeah. Anyway, no, that's awesome. That's a great pickup.
A couple other things. I need to. I was limited run to just sponsor our show basically, because I got the PS4 version of Icy, which has been out for a couple of years, and you got your cool little card, and it's got reversible cover art as well. But it's a cool platformer. If anyone's ever played the Dishwasher, stuff like that, it's like a side-scrolling combo-based game, but you can actually kind of go against what the narrator tells you to do in the game, and that's what drew me to it. So I really want to give that a shot. And then if you make and you get their magazine, quote unquote. But
because they recently hired, was it Jeremy Parrish? Joined. If you look at that newsletter, there was an OG game journalist that joined up with Limited Run recently, and he's the one running this new newsletter. That's really cool. I would like to get one of those.
I'm not sure. It happens whenever I get a collector's edition of something, but on the other side is this cool poster that looks like one of those old school things you'd see in like a Sega or Nintendo box.
And we all tack those up to our bedroom walls back in the day.
Yep. And now it's just ripped. No, I'm just kidding. But the reason I got that was because my classic edition of Streets of Rage 4 came in.
Ooh, look at that!
That's
wow,
nice.
that
was a big old box that has 2 more boxes in it. I put the reverse cover art on it already so it says bare knuckle. This thing is gonna break so soon. Okay, that guy, and then it comes with a soundtrack, so I put the soundtrack in the steel case.
Cool.
And I actually have mine. I got a shipping notification for mine, but I haven't. Hasn't come in yet, and now you completely stole my thunder for showing it on the podcast, so I won't do that now.
Sorry. I mean, you can still do that.
Your one will be better.
You'll probably get a different card than I will.
Maybe.
Yeah. What have you got?
What's it called? Yeah, that's Axel on there. I guess the limited run soundtrack has exclusive track selections somehow. I'm not sure which ones. It doesn't have any mark on there, and I don't know the soundtrack well enough to know. But I mean, you got Yuzo on there and T-Lopes.
Yeah, I mean, this was interesting because there was some controversy about this. I don't know if you guys remember, because I think it was first announced that Limited Run was going to be doing the physical version of it, and they went and did pre-orders, and then after after their whole pre-order window expired, at some point thereafter, GameStop announced that they were also going to be doing physical versions of Streets of Rage 4. And people started freaking out about it. And so I think the inclusion of the CD soundtrack in the limited run is kind of one of the things that they did to try to kind of give a little bonus to the people that pre-ordered from them versus GameStop. Because the idea, and the very idea of buying limited run games is because the idea that it's preserving rarity, right? Like a lot of times, these are smaller runs, so a lot of collectors are buying these games with the idea that, years down the line, they're going to be able to grow in value because of the limited amount of games that have been produced. So I think people freaked out when they already pre-ordered the Streets of Rage 4 from Limited Run, and then GameStop announced later on that they were going to be producing, thousands and thousands of copies, way more than people figured. And so they were probably concerned that, their investment now is thrown away because it's not going to be a rare game any longer.
Yeah. Buckus. Whatever. Drama. Save it for Obama. I just realized this. I took out the bigger box art from the plastic case, and it has the PAL version on the back.
Oh, nice. That's what you want to see.
So,
the PAL version sucks every time. I'll say
that. What are you talking about?
70% of the time, it sucks every time.
Make art great again.
And this will give you an idea of how big the thing is. Wow. There's a Genesis case.
Oh wow, it is quite a bit bigger.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it's larger.
That's a solid game to compare it to. I like it.
Yeah, zero tolerance.
A burglar with that. That's solid. It looks pretty. It's not.
It's pretty hefty. And it's
not one of those eco-friendly Xbox One cases that are barely plastic anymore.
Right.
It's hollow.
Right.
That will fuck someone up.
Right.
Wow.
Streets Rage 4. That's all I got.
Awesome. Nice. And yeah, for me, so one of the reasons, it's hard. I guess the audience doesn't really know this, but we've had to move our schedule around a little bit, the last week or so. Chris and I last week recorded. Well, we didn't record. We did a stream, a new stream on a different day, and we're actually recording this on Is it Wednesday today? I don't even know what day it is anymore.
Wednesday for us, yep.
It's a Wednesday. Yes, excellent. It's actually almost Thursday for me because it's now 11:55. Perfect. We normally record on a Sunday, but that's because I've actually been away for about a week or so camping, going to the great outdoors, or parts of England, which are near towns and not really outdoors. It's been a weird one. Like I basically have been on 2 camping trips in the course of like 7 days.
How did that work? That it just so happened that you planned 2 different camping trips.
It was it's kind of by accident in a way. Like basically, some friends went, "Yeah, do you want to go camping?" Getting loads of camping stuff. Talking to my brother and his wife and my nephews, and they were sort of like talking about they wanted to go somewhere camping. They got camping equipment they bought last year because of the whole COVID pandemic. We can't really go abroad, and we're like, "Oh, well, going camping at this point," and they're like, "Oh, we could go camping as well." We're like, let's plan to go camping together. But because like we can't really travel anywhere at the moment, everybody in the UK seems to want to go camping. So well, times to go camping, except like this week, basically, been 2 completely different locations. Like one is quite close to where I live; it's about an hour's drive away. The other one's like about a 4-hour drive away. So essentially, I went camping with some friends for 2 nights nearby, and it was quite windy. We're in a big open field; it's quite windy. And one of the days it was really windy. We were sort of sitting around. We saw this tent on the other end of the field, and it's quite windy where we were, but it's a little bit more sheltered by some big trees. We just saw this tent going like flapping around really badly to the point that the front of it was like properly bending down and caving in, and we were just like, do we save this tent? Like we're thinking because there's no one around. That was everything. Everyone else was like with their tents sort of around and stuff, but this one tent was just like like flying around. We're like, is someone in there asleep or dead on the floor or like what is going on? But after a while, when I say a while, it's about an hour of just watching this tent flap around. Basically, it's like our entertainment.
Pretty eventful trip.
we basically
the little things in life, Scotty.
Yeah, sorry.
So a couple of people I was with, they kind of do camping trip. They do like sea cadets or something with kids, and like they actually like camping and outdoor stuff. So they were like, we're gonna have to help these people out because their tent is about to blow away. So they went over there, and everyone else was just watching. And it turns out they hadn't put the guide ropes down properly. So like the ropes on the outside of the tent, which sort of help hold it down even better. They hadn't put them on properly, and parts of the poles were actually snapping now. Like they're kind of the modern poles, which are designed to bend. But they were like, some of them apparently were broken. So they started having to like gaffer tape, like get electricians tape and like tape it up. And the campsite owners came out to ask what they were doing. And like, we're trying to save this person's tent. And then the campsite owners sort of started helping them. And then the people basically a little bit later, the people turned up after this all sort of happened. They sort of just saw their tent and like the whole front had basically been removed because it was like falling apart. And they're like, okay. And then we sort of went and explained what had happened. They're like, okay, and then the owners sort of came out as well to say, yeah, they basically saved your tent, and they're like, okay, that's cool, thank you, sort of thing. Like they weren't angry, they're just more shocked. They're like, what's going on, sort of thing. And we're like, sort of like, wow, glad we had our guide ropes down and stuff, and it's pretty windy. And then went camping with my brother and stuff, and didn't realize it because I don't really look at the news or the weather or anything. A storm was coming into Britain, and it's a little bit windy. Like setting up the tent was a bit of a mild wind. We're meant to be there for 3 nights. The morning, so we were there. We slept for 2 nights, and then the morning of like the 3rd day, so we were meant to stay there one more night. Basically, woke up to pouring rain at like 2 a.m. or something, and increasing over the morning, our tent was like the tent at the other place. It was like proper bending in and stuff, like really like sort of being in there, sort of like, do I go and check? And I needed to go to the bathroom at like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something. So I got out in the darkness. This like lashing down with rain. I was like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. It's really windy and rainy. So I sort of went out and I saw like some of our guide ropes were coming out of the ground because where we were, the ground was super soft and like the pegs were going in really easily, but they're also coming out just as easy. Like even if you put an angle or whatever. So basically spent all morning just constantly going out of our tent, hammering down the pegs again and making sure they're all in. And then eventually my brother's tent, they were sort of cooking some lunch or something. They're making some lunch in their tent and part of the tent just went and like slammed down on them. So they like, okay, we're going to have to dismantle the tent. And basically I took my tent down and everything. And we left early that day.
I was going to say.
We came back a day early, basically, because it was just like, and as I say, I didn't realize there was a storm coming in, basically. So it was, a bit of a weird experience, really. And clearly my tent was not designed for camping. It's not for camping, sorry. My tent was not designed for camping in a storm. But out of that, there was like a funny situation which relates to video games and movies and stuff. So my nephew, he's 4 years old now. He's about to start going to primary school, so like junior school, whatever you call it in America. I'm not sure what we call it. But yeah, he's about to go to like primary school, and he's really into like Marvel and stuff and kind of getting into video games. I mentioned him a couple of times before on the show, and he knows that I like Sonic the Hedgehog, and he's kind of aware of Sonic, but didn't really understand that he was a video game character before a Lego character, if that makes sense. But he's really, really into like Marvel and stuff. He watches those like Marvel short animated stuff on like Netflix or Disney Plus, wherever it's on. And he got super excited. They were talking about different like superheroes and stuff, and he suddenly got really excited about the Flash, like going, and the Flash is really fast and like he's really cool. And I was like doing a little fun sort of like, when parents sort of, adults talk to kids, I was like, who's faster then? The Flash or Superman? And he's like, Superman doesn't run, he flies. And I was like, oh, okay. So he's never seen Superman run fast. I was like, oh, okay.
I guess not.
And it was like
faster than a speeding bullet. Has he just not heard that?
I guess in all the cartoons he's watched, Superman just flies off, doesn't actually run anywhere or anything. So he's like, yeah, Superman flies. I was like, okay, does he fly fast? He's like, yeah, he's pretty fast, but the Flash is faster. I was like, okay, and I wish I'd recorded this because I was like, who's faster, the Flash or Sonic the Hedgehog? And he went, Sonic! And then just turned around and ran off going, ran off like with his arms flapping behind him. Like,
oh no!
And he sort of ran around and he was like, I'm going to do a loop. He just ran around in a circle going, looping. And then he came back. And my brother and his wife were just like, oh, can you do the spin dash, the roll that Sonic does? And he sort of went, I can't do the roll, but I can do this. He sort of did a weird headstand and just fell on his back. It's like, yeah. Okay. But it was just like, it was just the cutest thing ever. And I really wish I'd recorded it because I think that would be priceless on social media. But it's just a funny, I love the way that he's being introduced into all this like nerdy culture, like with like comic books and superheroes and computer games. It's so different to how I was. It's really funny. Oh man. Just, anyway, but yeah, so I'm back from camping, and Storm Francis stopped play early, but back, and I haven't got any pickups. That's basically it, because I've been busy, haven't got any pickups or anything, so yeah. Cool. Anyway, I guess...
So, I gotta say that the weather is the first thing you check when you're going to go camping. This is the first thing.
I think
I had to get another stupid app on my phone to make sure it wasn't going to rain, because the thing that I was doing, you need essentially 3 straight dry days, because you clean off the fence, you weather the fence, it dries a day. So I was ready to go, and then there's Graham over there like, we'll be fine. You just put your shoe on the corner of each tent, or each corner of your tent or something, and it's good to go.
Basically, I was trying to weigh down my tent inside by putting heavier objects in the corners.
God.
This cooler box can go there, can't it?
Graham is not a survivalist, everybody.
Clearly not, man.
Yeah,
I survived though.
And the other thing I was going to say was you drove 4 hours away. Chris and I still live further than that from each other than you drove this weekend.
Well, I have a small country,
small place.
It's a lot smaller, and a long drive for us is like 2 hours. So yeah.
To visit the other 15 people that live there.
Exactly, yeah.
I can imagine Graham as being like Sam in Fellowship of the Ring. He's like, if I take one more step, it'll be farther than I've ever been from the Shire in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, yeah. Oh, dear. And also, just to be slightly hilarious, not hilarious, but I find it funny. Basically, I've completely screwed up my work calendar with this holiday. So I booked the time off, kind of the correct amount of time off for our work holiday system, and I spoke to my boss about it, but I think I told him I'd be back today, like 2 days early. And then I put in my calendar that I would be back yesterday or something. So basically, we have to put our work holiday, so a holiday calendar system, and then we have to utilize like Google Calendar to add to our Google Calendar that we're out of the office on holiday, basically. So people we work with will know. I could like check where I am for my meetings. Go, oh, Graham's actually on holiday today. Brilliant. But yeah, I've kind of put in. I think I spoke to my boss and told him the wrong dates. I put in Google Calendar the wrong dates, but I put on the system the correct dates. So technically, I think I'm okay. But I may be getting a telling off when I get back to work because, I'm always screwing stuff up like that.
Graham, you're fucking fired.
God. Chris, I may need to come full time on the magazine.
I don't know if we can afford you and Sketchcraft. You guys are divas.
Well, you know. You got to make that choice. Probably Sketchcraft. He's kind of needed for the magazine, I think.
Yeah. PTO is messed up this year, but since there have been no conventions, normally I would call off Thursday, Friday, and then the Monday following the marathon. I called off the full, since I have all the PTO in the world, I called off the full week before the marathon, and I'm not going back to work till Wednesday after. So I'm like, fucking whatever.
Nice.
Who cares? I got to use this, otherwise some of it's going to disappear.
Yeah.
So
nice.
That's you. Wow. I'm glad you're alive, Graham.
Thank you. Yeah, and just to be clear, the storm wasn't even a bad storm, but when you're in a tent, it's suddenly and the tents are starting to break. My brother's tent did break actually, like parts of the pole side snapping. So yeah, fun. So yeah, that's
there weren't like big rocks around you could like put on the stakes or anything. Like I don't know what camping campgrounds are in the UK really. So
you can get some proper decent wilderness, out in a forest sort of campsites. This was like in a lovely field next to a cider distillery kind of farm place. Like there's farmland around basically, and we're like basically in a field with some hedges. And like a toilet block, basically. It's a good toilet facilities, actually. I have to admit. But yeah, and then like there's a farm next to it which made cider, so I went and tried that just before we left, and it's pretty good cider. So,
Graham, I hate to break it to you, but you didn't go camping.
Well, I slept under canvas. That's all I can tell you.
I will also say that like what we do is like when we go camping now, we take our travel trailer with us. So I don't know if I would consider that really camping either, but it is a lot of fun. And it's way more comfortable when you take an entire family out camping. Like tent camping with the wife and kids is cool for a day, but after that, it sucks really bad. And taking an actual like RV or travel trailer with you makes it just so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, but I kind of consider it camping when I'm sitting on the grass cooking beans off like a little gas stove thing, like in a pan that's way too small.
Like our ancestors used to do.
Just like our ancestors used to do. If I was on the Oregon Trail, that's what I'd be doing right now.
Nice.
Dear.
All right.
What's up, guys? We are on Twitch 3 days a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. What is the internet? But if you go to twitch.tv/Megavisions, Monday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, you will see us playing everything from Phantasy Star Online 2 to Anarchy Reigns on our Thursday night throwdowns, which we do also invite the community into. And we have coming up on there to be hosted on Twitch is the 24-hour Dreamless Dreamcast Marathon on September 12th. Mark your calendars, but otherwise check us out any day throughout the week. Keep an eye on twitch.tv/Megavision. Feedback.
So this is something we're actually introducing, I guess, for the first time, which we've kind of been meaning to do, but we just haven't so far. We keep forgetting, to be honest. But we're doing some feedback from the last episode. So it's great when you guys give us feedback. We love it. The good stuff, the bad stuff. If you've got any comments on stuff. Also, if you've just got any opinions on stuff we've talked about, which is great. If you've got like contravening opinions or you want to bring up the discussion, we love to hear from you. So, Scotty, do you want to read out some of the feedback from the last issue? Last episode.
You're never going not camping again. So, Emma the Crab. I almost read it as Emma the Carb.
He's a longtime SEGA nerd from back in the day. He's an OG.
What a guy!
Shout out to Emmett.
Okay,
he's
cool.
It's awesome that he's still listening to us after all these
absolutely.
years.
Very cool. But they said, having worked on the Clive Barker podcast for the past 9 years, I feel I have to say a few things about Candyman here. Number one, it's based on a Clive Barker short story called The Forbidden that takes place in Liverpool.
Ooh.
Do you guys want to comment on each one of these, or want me to just read through and then we'll comment?
I know that I did know that it was based on a Clive Barker short story. I've never read that before, so I knew of it, but I don't know how much of the actual story elements that they take from that book for the movie.
Is it sad that I only know Clive Barker's name from the video game Jericho?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same actually.
The Clive Barker game that I played was The Undying. Have you guys ever played that on PC? It was a PC exclusive. First, it was like a first-person shooter style game, but it was scary, man. Like there was some. It was basically like you were going in like this haunted, like demonic house or something, and there's bits where like there's these demons that just like jump out at you and try to get you. It's a pretty scary game.
I'm looking up the cover to see if I've definitely never seen that cover before. Looks cool though. Number 2, Nia DaCosta is the director of the upcoming movie, not Jordan Peele, though it is his production company.
Okay. Yeah.
Did not know that, which is really cool. I'm not familiar with Nia DaCosta. What, offhand at least? What? What has that person done? You guys?
No aware? Idea.
Never heard of him.
I can maybe Google him.
Oh, it's interesting. So she's directing Captain Marvel 2. Yeah. So but she hasn't really done a lot. Like she's done a movie called Little Woods in 2018, a Night and Day short movie, like a short story in 2013. She's done it directed a couple episodes of this TV series called Top Boy in 2019. So interesting. I don't know. That's it's pretty cool. She is an African American female director, so it seems like one of the cool things it seems like Jordan Peele's doing through his company is finding like younger maybe African American artists and directors that are ready for a break and giving a big chance like this. So that's pretty cool, man.
I'm actually wondering if she's English, because Top Boy is an English TV show. Although no, she's American.
It says here also
she is American. Okay. So I just found out. Yeah, okay, sorry, that's cool. I was just wondering because I didn't really know anything else other than Top Boy that she'd done. Wow, cool.
Apparently, the Little Woods thing was done through Kickstarter, essentially.
Oh, cool,
man. Yeah,
so maybe she's not traditionally trained either.
Who is anymore?
True,
indeed.
And then number 3, yes, Candyman 3 is terrible.
Yeah, I still kind of think it does some good things. I don't think that it's all bad. It's mostly bad, but there are some redeeming things on there. He also says that I guess he also linked to the podcast episode where they did the Candyman movies. So if you go to clivebarkercast.com, they released this back in like 2013, so it's a while ago, but it was episode 51 of their podcast where they did that. I started listening to it earlier today. I definitely want to get through it and give it another listen and finish the episode. So I love that Candyman series, so I'll listen to that for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, check that out.
Yeah, we'll throw a link to the podcast episode in the description of this podcast.
Sweet.
If people are curious.
Cool. Yeah. Cheers, Emmett. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crab. Am I reading the next one or what?
It's Mr. Haru from Discord. He says, I don't believe COVID had anything to do with Halo at all. 343 was looking for a scapegoat. This game had been in development for over 5 years, and they were ready to launch that game this year alone. The fact that they spent so much time recently doing damage control, only to then say they are delaying it due to the pandemic, sounds super fishy and very reactionary. 500 million plus, and it looks like a 360 game that is copying Destiny. Halo never used to chase trends, but I'm not surprised that the game has been mishandled already.
Interesting.
Did we say that it was related to COVID?
There's
delay?
There's some speculation. So when we spoke about the news, was it last week or the week before? I think it was last week. There's some speculation that it has been partly down to COVID. The whole, because production stuff, like developers and stuff, they can't really sit in their offices in their big rooms together anymore and code away, I guess, whatever developers do. That's my imagination of what they do.
We got some late breaking news that Sketch just delivered us.
Whoa.
Huh? He's not even on the podcast. I don't even know how, but it's literally Halo and 343 Industries rumors. Apparently someone on Twitter is saying that they just received word that 343 Industries is going to announce a change in leadership tomorrow due to the current leadership being too unpredictable.
What does that mean?
That's not sound like...
I don't know if it means that like
that's not sound like a legitimate thing.
They're not falling in step with the way like things are going. Maybe this whole delay was mishandled at the 343 Industries level. Maybe they didn't properly communicate that to like further the hierarchy in Microsoft and the Xbox division to let them know like maybe this game's going to be not ready. Who knows? But that could be something that continues to play out with this whole Halo thing.
That could be interesting. Okay, let's see.
Shaping up to be a really interesting story already. Like like what's the story behind all this delays and everything else. Like I'm looking forward to it. It's starting to become a really interesting story.
Yeah, and there's actually another bit of news I read that I think it came out like earlier today or something. There was, I think a day or so ago, some people were talking on Twitter about a rumor that it's actually going to be delayed even further, like maybe another year, like to 2022. But then 343 Industries and Microsoft came out and actually said that's not true at all. It's not being delayed again. We're planning to release it sort of early, like Q1 2021.
It's not being planned to be delayed again, I'm sure.
Well, yeah. But there's some sort of rumors flying around that they're delaying it really far, like a whole other year. So that's apparently been quashed. But yeah, I don't know. I think you could be right, Mr. Haru, that I feel like there could be other things at hand. I feel like COVID maybe didn't help. I think it might have actually delayed certain things, but I guess you're right. It's been in development for a while. The other thing, though, is that the Halo teams, like Microsoft and 343 Industries, have been dealing with other things. Like there's like a Halo TV show that's like sort of meant to be in production or pre-production and stuff, which apparently has been eating up some of their time. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of factors involved, but yeah, I think you could be right. It could just be mishandling of the whole of the game and I guess the franchise in a way. I wouldn't say it's copying Destiny so much, though. That feels like an Americanism, by the way, copying Destiny. I assume you mean like sort of copying, like mimicking Destiny a bit. I feel like it's not really. I mean, I feel like those two franchises will always have a slight mix or blend of like appearances and like gameplay stuff, because it was basically the same company that made them, the Bungie, who made both Destiny and Halo. Like when I first played Destiny, I was like, this does feel very much like a kind of Halo game, and the aesthetics were slightly Halo-y. I mean, they found a formula that seemed to work in it, so they sort of kept that with Destiny a bit. Although arguably, I think Destiny is one of the most overrated games I've ever played in my life. Which that could be a discussion for another show, though.
Play more.
Yep. But yeah, no, I think you could be right there. I'm just going basically we're just going off what's the information that's being provided, but yeah, I guess speculating, yeah, you could be right. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree, Mr. Haru? Do you think COVID is the main reason, or are you like, yeah, this doesn't seem right at all, it seems a bit fishy?
The delay is reactionary, 100%. That's what I think. And also, imagine what would have happened if we had E3 this year and this had happened back in May, and then Phil Spencer's like on different couches and interviews right after, and everybody's like, "What's up with that Halo, man?" Like how would that have gone? I wonder how would this have been different. But also, that would have been a full 3 months ago.
I don't know if we get the same kind of trailer. Like, I think at that point, maybe you get a more of a CGI trailer. You don't get actual like real gameplay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
I'm not too concerned about it though.
Yeah. All right. That's going to wrap up our feedback this week.
Nice.
Feedback.
Back of Wonders.
And welcome back. We are now moving on to Scotty Moe's Mail Sack of Wonder. Scotty.
Yeah, let me grab that sack. Here we go. Let's see what we've got. Oh, that's the wrong note. Today. Turn the page. So, Mr. Haru in the Discord asks, with the Ages games coming to a stop, he means Sega Ages games coming to a stop on the Nintendo Switch, what next do you see Sega doing? Will they find yet another way to rebrand and resell your Genesis games? And it's funny you should ask that question because it tailors right into the news. So, we're going to check out this first news item that we have here. Sega Ages project ends, and they tease more remasters in the future. We posted about this on the old megavisionsmag.com, and there was a quote from Yusuke Akanari saying, although the Sega Ages project has come to an end with the release of Herzog 2, there are many games in the collection you can still buy and play. So please check them out if you don't own them yet. However, this doesn't mean that this is the end of Sega's plan to re-release past titles. I, along with Sega's own Rieko, Kodama, and Kagaise Shimamaru, are currently hard at work on our next project. At this point in time, unfortunately, I can't tell you whether or not M2 will be involved. If this makes you think, oh, they're definitely doing something with M2, I hope we can live up to your expectations. Considering Sega Ages has ended, some may be wondering if we have plans to continue relaunching past titles on Nintendo Switch. I want that to happen. I hope to bring something over that will really satisfy Switch players. So until then, we hope you'll look forward to it. And Herzog 2 has not released yet. It releases this week as of this recording in Japan. Actually, a Western release date's not even been announced yet. So to give people an idea before we discuss it, what we're talking about with the Sega Ages games, I'm going to back up now and hopefully not screw up the recording. These are all on the Switch right now. Sonic 1, Thunder Force 4, this Phantasy Star 1, Outrun, Gain Ground, Alex Kidd in Miracle World, Puyo Puyo, Virtual Racing, Wonder Boy in Monsterland, Space Harrier, Columns 2, and Columns is included, Puzzle and Action, Icadent R, Shinobi, Fantasy Zone, Puyo Puyo 2, Sonic 2, and Knuckles in Sonic 2 is also included, G-Lock Air Battle, and Thunder Force AC. And then Herzog 2 is coming up, so.
Wow. That's a list of games.
That is, my opinions on it are, it's unfortunate because that's how I'm playing through Phantasy Star, even though I haven't played it since I mentioned it last on this podcast. I got Virtual Racing to support that. That's one of the better 32X games that was released, and arguably the 32X version's better than the one they put on Switch, but it's a shame to see this happening because I really enjoyed it. It was like half the reason. If we hadn't already got a Switch, it was going to be half the reason I got a Switch. But they don't just re-release them. They add slice of life stuff and or quality of life stuff. It's not an anime genre. Quality of life stuff that Graham's also mentioned before on the Phantasy Star stuff too. So we'll go around the table here. Graham, what do you think about this?
It's an interesting move by Sega because I feel like the whole Sega Ages brand almost has been around. It's been around for a long time. If you don't know, it's been around since I guess kind of since. I can't even remember now. I mean, there was the marketing. to be this good takes ages / backwards of Sega. And back on like the PS2 and stuff in Japan, they had the Sega Ages compilations. They had other Sega Ages stuff. I think on the Saturn as well.
That's where it started. It looks like.
That's where it started, basically. So it's been going on for a long time now, not just on Sega stuff, but also on Sega consoles, on other consoles and platforms. So, yeah, it's interesting. The thing I find strange is the fact that they've sort of said, yes, we are going to try to look to re-release other games in the future, these old games, but they're removing the Sega Ages branding. So, in my head, and I don't know if this is true or not, in fact, off the show, we had a mini discussion about this, but in my head, I was thinking, could they maybe trying to bring everything under the umbrella of the Sega Forever branding at all? Like the more modern, fresher branding that they're trying to like promote, which is meant to have, because the Sega Ages has always been sort of older, sort of 16-bit, and I guess slightly some of the 32-bit stuff, like with Virtual Racing, but they have never really gone much past
8-bit, that. Almost as much as 16, I'd say.
8-bit, 16-bit, and I guess dabbling in the 32-bit with Virtua Racing, but I don't think there's anything more advanced than Virtua Racing at all in what they've released in the past. So yeah, I'm wondering if it's good they want to do it on the Sega Forever umbrella, but I guess Chris had a different opinion on that, which makes sense, Chris, where you said that this seems like more of a Japanese for Sega Japan decision. So maybe and Sega Forever is more of a Western branding, so maybe it's not. I don't know. I find it very interesting. I'm fascinated almost. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm slightly scared. I'm slightly nervous. What is going on, Sega? What are you doing? You're leaving me high and dry. That's what you're doing. And it's sad to see that they won't be releasing anything more under that umbrella, I guess, for the time being. I like seeing these old retro games coming out. As you say, Scotty, that's one of the reasons I got my Switch, because they are releasing these. It's a great way to play them, on the go, very easy to do. I know you can get them on phones and stuff, but playing on a phone's never as good, and I can't be bothered to carry around a freaking phone controller and stuff. I'm happy with the Switch in the pocket. Nice big screen, great stuff. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm curious.
I think one of the things when you look at it is look at the timing of when this is all taking place. I mean, we're just a couple of months away from the launch of these new consoles with the Series X and the PlayStation 5. I think that is probably very telling. He's saying right now, in this, that he's working on a project with Kodama and Shinya Momura from Sega. So they're obviously have some sort of Sega, branded project in the works over there right now. And I think it may have something to do with some next gen consoles. Maybe they're coming with a new brand and they're looking to expand beyond just the Switch. And they're just looking at, maybe Sega Ages, that whole name and publishing label or whatever doesn't work for what they have going forward. And so they're deciding to make it into this, and they're going to create an entirely new thing, whether that's Sega Forever or whatever they brand it as. I think they're looking to maybe do some more stuff. I personally would like to see them go the route of kind of how Nintendo did with their NES and their 8-bit and 16-bit games on the Switch. I would like to see some inclusion of multiplayer and other things in some of these older games that we haven't received 1,000 times before. So, for instance, I'm not interested in seeing another Streets of Rage 2 that has network play that we've been getting since the Xbox 360. I want to see something. Right. Let's do something new and exciting. Let's not just rehash 8 and 16-bit games anymore. Let's go beyond that. Let's start looking at the Saturn. Let's start looking at the Dreamcast. And let's really see what M2 can do in terms of emulation and bringing some of these older systems to newer platforms.
Max agrees.
That's right.
A thought just popped into my head just then. What if instead of having these individual games released to Sega Ages, what if they're doing something with Nintendo for the Switch, a bit like the NES and Super Nintendo games they've got, their online service where you get 100 Super Nintendo and 100 Nintendo games. What if they're going to do something like that? A bit like the old Virtual Console where they had Mega Drive games on there or Genesis games. What if they're going to do something similar where they get all their old retro games and put them up on the service for that monthly fee or something. Like, could that be a thing? So they're closing down the Sega Ages brand because they're not going to release those games individually. They're just going to have the Genesis collection of like all the Genesis and Mega Drive games and stuff. Like
Sega Channel 2, baby.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, that's what the Nintendo service is right now, essentially. It's the Nintendo channel. And this is a rare time I'll give props to Nintendo for what they do with those things. Corey and I streamed, like, as a backup plan, one random Thursday Night Throwdown. We just went through some SNES games and NES games, co-op mode, that you just play them. You just play them online with each other. Or you can just share a controller, kind of a la Parsec does. It's crazy. So yeah, if they did something like that with this, I would want, if this is done, then now, like they did with the 3DS releases, just put them all on one disc, on one cartridge, release a collection, because
that'd be good.
It's ridiculous, but I'm probably going to go back and download every single one of these on Switch because they're going to fucking get delisted. I just know it.
That's a good point, actually.
And the other thing I was going to say is M2's been working their butts off, so they probably want a break, because I was looking at the release dates of these. There is a Switch M2 release almost every month since September of 2018, or every other month. So yeah, they probably want a break as well.
It sounds like
and then to go back to Mr. Harvey's question, though, with the Ages games coming to a stop on the Nintendo Switch, what next do you see Sega doing? Will they find yet another way to rebrand, resell your Genesis games? So realistically, what do we think Sega might do with this? Chris did mention the next console is coming up, so maybe they're just trying to... Because the Sega Ages moniker has only really happened on... Well, no, it's happened on 360 and PS3. It skipped the 1 and the 4, and then went to Switch, so... I don't know. I was going to say maybe since Sega Ages has only been on Nintendo since the last collection, maybe they're trying to get under a different name to be on other systems, but I don't know.
And weren't the Sega Ages games that were released on 360 also playable on Xbox One as well? Were they some of the backwards compatible games? I've got a feeling
some of them are. That's the Sega Vintage Collection, like the Streets trilogy, the Golden Axe trilogy.
Collection. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, those were good little collections. I loved the little game rooms they created for those. The PS3 owners got the shaft on that because they did not get the interactive game room type thing. That was only on 360 for some reason.
Oh, okay. Huh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know, because also, what's it called? Was it Sega Forever that just stopped, like that whole service on phones?
I think, they kind of just stopped releasing titles, didn't they? Like they just out of nowhere just sort of stopped, I guess. But
it was never at all what they promised it to be.
Yeah, it really wasn't. Which is it's one of those things I've always brought up on the show, or like even SEGA Nerds back in the day. I used to bring it up a bit. Just as they promised the world and sort of delivered, a small island. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the Sega Forever branding does seem to still be alive, and they've recently sort of launched a Discord and stuff. So it seems to be something they are sort of pushing. I guess they had to take pause and think what we planned isn't happening, so let's just take a pause, take a moment. Let's restart it and stuff. So it looks like they're trying to do it in a slightly different way, like more slowly than just like, bam, we're going to do all this. Wait, we can't do all this. Oh, damn it. It seems to be more like, let's build up the momentum a bit. So assuming Sega, this is why I'm assuming this could be part of the whole Sega Forever thing. That's why I thought that, basically. Yeah.
I just thought of something that I know is so unrealistic, but if they did it, they would win the hearts of millions.
Do it.
In these dark times of the year and our Lord and Savior, Sonic 2020, what if they put out a Mega Drive Genesis Mini 2, the Game Gear Micro comes out, the Astro City Time arcade machine, they all have Wi-Fi. Sega kicks off their downloadable service like the Nintendo does have right now, I'm so flabbergasted by how my idea is amazing and will never happen that I can't form sentences. What if they created Sega goddamn Channel 2 and you can just play it on those things?
That'd be amazing.
Like, what if I could grab my stupid freaking... Look at it, it's all the way up there because I don't use it. The freaking Genesis Mini, for listeners, just watch the video. There's Oswald. What if they did that, guys? What if they just did an online service on their mini classic consoles and we could just play the games we want to and download them and have them on our console? That would make too much sense and too much money.
Yes. I love it.
God damn. Fog Gaming's where it's at. Let me tell everyone on Twitter 5 weeks before the announcement. It's just my phone, honey.
I was saying either the last podcast or the podcast before is that I think they should create their own version of like a smaller scaled arcade cabinet that integrates into the whole Fog Gaming thing, and you can play all of their arcade stuff and a lot of like the old school retro arcade games that M2 has worked on over the years. Maybe I would be down for them working on something like that. Maybe they're partnering up with M2 and say, hey, we're going to release our own mini, like maybe, 1/3 of scale or whatever it needs to be, just a smaller sized, like an arcade 1-up arcade unit by Sega. I would be totally down for that. Just a Sega branded unit, and you can download and install, all sorts of Sega games, arcade games from over the years.
Yeah, I love the idea. I think, yeah. Scotty, if this comes to true, you're a genius, and Sega is amazing, because I think you're right. If Sega were to do this, it would just be the best thing ever, because I think everyone would be like, oh, finally, oh my god, this is perfect. This is exactly what we needed. This is what we wanted. I think it'd be brilliant. It'd be such a good idea. Sadly, I think it won't happen because I feel like Sega never do anything we want them to do. But they're such a tease.
I'm furious because I know how possible this is, because people have their NES classics and their PS1 classics, and they've hacked them and ripped them open, and they've installed like internet connectivity to it, and you can just download updates and other crap and play whatever on your system. And it's just it's there. It's there. Just outsource it somehow. We freaking outsource it to Megavisions. We'll do it.
No, we won't.
we won't. But
we don't.
Please give us all the code and just dump all your games on us, please. The code dumps.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Oh God! All right, I wore myself out. I also lost my phone. I dropped it and it just disappeared.
Oh no, it's gone. It's dead. You lost it to the gods of podcasting. So right. Shall we respond to Mr. Haru's second part of the question?
What was that?
Will they find yet another way to rebrand, resell your Genesis games?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's yes. But they've kind of already said that they are sort of planning on continuing sort of doing these projects and stuff, I guess. But yeah, I think they're always. I feel like the day that Sega says we're going to stop reselling the old classic games, that's probably the day that Sega closes its doors, basically. I feel like that's a good money spinner for them, for the fans who love it, the OG fans who played it back in the day, but also brand new people like coming into kids are still being born. There's plenty more gamers on the horizon, so they need to see these classic games and spend $2 or $3 a time or whatever. It all adds up. Good stuff.
You can tell your nephew, you haven't played the real Sonic yet? Well, grab anything that you plugged into the wall once and it probably has Sonic on it.
Can even get a toaster with his face on it. God damn.
Yeah. Sonic's on your toaster. Do it. That's their motto now, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's the episode title.
So good. Cool. Let's move on.
That's my article.
Yeah, let's move on to the next bit of news. So I'll go with my one. This I don't know if this was announced recently or I saw it actually today, a few hours ago, really. So there's been rumor and speculation over the last few days about Nintendo, not even just last few days, like months, I guess, Nintendo possibly bringing out a new version of the Switch or a new console, partly because of the whole Xbox Series X and PS5 coming out. And, the Switch is already way underpowered compared to them. And we've already spoken about this. The Switch doesn't need to be as powerful. It's its own category, essentially, of gaming. But there's been that sort of the theory that they should sort of do something to, refresh it a bit, I guess. And there's been new reports out, and apparently there has been a report that's kind of been leaked or announced. Not officially announced yet, but it's been leaked out of Nintendo saying they are planning a new Switch release to be in 2021. Apparently they are said to be dabbling with more power, so a slightly more powerful unit, and 4K visuals, which is like one of the key things they're talking about, because obviously right now the Nintendo Switch does not do 4K. I mean, even the Xbox One and PS4, when they were released, didn't really natively do proper 4K gaming. The Xbox One X, correct me if I'm wrong, actually, is the Xbox One X the only one that can actually really do proper 4K native gaming?
The gaming, yes. The what is it? The that Series S or whatever they call it.
It does Blu-ray, doesn't it?
Play 4K. Blu-ray,
yes,
but not game.
So yeah, they can play the 4K movies. I think the PS4 Pro can do 4K movies as well. And did the original PS4 do 4K? Anyway, yeah.
It doesn't do it natively.
Yeah. So only the Xbox One X does 4K gaming. So yeah, this will be a pretty massive thing if the next Switch does 4K gaming, because I mean that's something that Microsoft only really cracked in the last year or so of the Xbox One. So it's clear that they won't be competing directly with the Series X or the PS5 in terms of power, because that's sort of Nintendo's thing now. As we said, they're in their own category. It's more likely just to be a slight upgrade, a bit more power, better screen and stuff. And it's going to be interesting, because apparently it's the report that was released also sort of indicated there would be loads more games planned for the new hardware. So some rumors are stating it could release with Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Taking that as a rumor, though, right now, completely rumor, because that's just speculation. But it'd be interesting to see what they do. I mean, personally, I kind of imagine it's going to be a little bit like the 3DS XL. If you remember when that was launched, it was a more powerful version of 3DS. It had an extra analog stick on it, was more powerful, so some of the games that they released were designed for the 3DS XL, so you couldn't run them on the old 3DS, but you could run 3DS games on the 3DS XL. So I'm kind of imagining it's going to be a bit like that, a bit more powerful. There's going to be a few games that are going to be released for it specifically, so better performance and stuff, but then be able to play all your cool classic old Switch games on it. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are you guys excited by this news? Are you it's kind of fair? Or what are you feeling, Scotty? Tell me your thoughts and feelings, please.
Nintendo's always released outdated hardware to then upcharge it, the cost of it. So when they release stuff, it's already outdated. But with the gimmicks, and they know how to use it and kind of bring out its potential, it kind of hides all that. And I'm not slamming them for that. I'm saying that because they've never had a reason. The Wii didn't even have an HD out. It only had component out at max. And they said it didn't have a DVD player because everybody already had one at that point. They didn't need it. That was to cut down costs. I think that, it wouldn't be handheld. It wouldn't have handheld 4K. That's not even possible to do, I don't think. Like, have that small screen be a 4K screen.
I don't know. I think you can get pretty small 4K screens these days, can't you? I don't know.
I guess I shouldn't speak too much on that because I really have no idea. Nintendo is also the best company at keeping their lips tight. Like Paper Mario, the Origami King, was announced to come out like 6 weeks after it did or something. So they've been known for doing stuff like that. So I don't know. That the Switch Lite is out. What would they call it? The Switch 2 with 4K, 4U? The Switch 2 4UK? I don't know. I don't think, like, I was holding out for this. If COVID hadn't happened and we didn't need quote unquote a Switch as much as we thought, I was going to wait for the Switch Pro that kept getting rumored and everything, because I had no reason to rush out and get one. So this is another thing where it's like, I got a Switch, I'm just sitting back and watching the Armageddon the kernels because nobody knows what they're doing and they're afraid to do anything, and it's gonna be something.
I think this is inevitable. I mean, we all knew this was going to be coming at some point. It's just this Nintendo has to somewhat keep up with Microsoft and Sony, so that multi-platform games can still be ported to Nintendo's console platform. They can't let their hardware get so outdated that that companies like EA and everyone else can no longer port their games without having a very drastic downgrade in visuals and performance. And so Nintendo's naturally going to have to refresh their hardware. It's right around the time where it seems like Nintendo does that anyway. Like after the 3 or 4 year mark or so, you'll get a new iteration of the system. I'm still not sold that it's going to reach 4K visuals though, especially when it's undocked. Because right now the Switch is 720p for most games, like when it's undocked, and 1080 when you actually dock it. I just don't see without drastically driving up the price. I just don't see that as being a very realistic benchmark to hit. And I don't think they need to either. I don't think they need to get to the 4K thing, but especially when you're playing on like a little screen like that. I mean, does it really make that much of a difference? But I can see it mainly being for the docked mode or whatever. But I'm not sold that it's going to get to the 4K. But like I said, it doesn't need to be. It just needs to be good enough to where companies can port their games to whatever the Switch 2 or whatever they decide to call it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sorry, Graham. Give your thoughts.
No, it's fine. My brain was, as I sort of said, my brain was processing something about some of the bigger open world games that they've released. Like I know it's old now, but Skyrim and Witcher 3. That's a really good example of what they managed to put on the Switch, the original Switch.
Doom.
So Doom as well. Yeah. So there have been some really surprisingly big games that kind of are graphically impressive and actually physically massive. So it's very interesting to see this. I'm wondering, my theory there is that they're releasing this not to compete with the Xbox Series X or PS5, but to up that level that if a game was to come out on the Series X or PS5, like that maybe they could put it on ported to the new Switch, just for that little bit of extra grunt behind it. So a bit like they've done with Witcher 3 and the like and stuff. Because they have done some pretty impressive things with the standard Switch, even though it's technically way underpowered compared to the other consoles out there. So yeah, that was just kind of my thought there on that little bit. Scotty, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was trying to look up the variations of the 3DS, and I couldn't remember if the 3DS, 3DSi. I couldn't remember if that was the DS or the 3DS because I was trying to make a DSi, just DSi.
Yeah, they had the 3DS, the 3DS XL, and the 3DS. Oh, 2DS. They called it the 2DS, didn't they? I think there's only 3 models of the 3DS. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Technically 4, because I was trying to look here at DS, DS Lite, DSi, DSi XL, and then 3DS, 3DS XL, 2DS, 2DS XL. So
okay,
the 3DS conquered the handheld world for a while. So the Switch is conquering its own world right now, and there's no reason they're not going to have like 5 different versions of it.
Yeah, I guess so. What if the new Switch adds in a 3DS or 3D mode? Would you guys be happy with that?
I wouldn't give 2 shits.
Oh, fair enough. I quite like the 3D. The 3D and the 3DS impressed me because you didn't need glasses. I was like, this is really cool. And a few games, I felt it did actually add something to it, but I completely understand it's not for everyone, and it's not even that important for most games. So,
I could. The only game maybe doing something with like VR or AR with their new system.
HD Rumble.
Oh yeah, That's what I'm about.
The only 3D thing that ever impressed me was Resident Evil Revelations or Revelatons, depending on which version you had, because that game had in-game 3D sliders, so you wouldn't just turn off or on the system's 3D slider. You'd actually mess with it in-game. So they games that do that, I heard, took better advantage of it. So, that was the only one I played with any 3D on. Otherwise, unless you were looking dead on at it, it messed up and could make you sick, depending on who you are. But
yeah, the Zelda Legends of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask Zelda games in 3D I thought were amazing in 3D, and Star Fox 64 3D version. Though those games, to me, I basically, when I played them in 3D, I was like, this feels so cool. I thought it really enhanced the game, but it's not needed, but it's just be interesting. But yeah, and what Chris said with the possible VR, maybe I can't see them doing that, to be honest. But
there's been rumors that Nintendo was going to dabble VR with some future hardware.
Okay.
I would think though that maybe AR would be something that Nintendo would probably be wanting to.
Yeah, they already did that with the DS.
They could do it with the DS, but if they had like really fresh, new hardware, and they could integrate like some camera, like a good camera in the the Switch, there could be some really cool AR stuff that they could potentially do.
They could release a new Pokemon Go style game on there, I guess, which could be quite cool.
Maybe.
Yeah,
the Nintendo's always been one of the companies that's introduced something, not taken advantage of it, but other people do. But so HD Rumble could be used in VR or AR or some sort of R. But also, they have that vitality sensor on, or whatever it actually is, on the right Joy-Con. And I'm pretty sure the only thing that uses that right now is Ring Fit. Yeah. But imagine, using that in a survival horror game or something, that it measures your heart rate somehow or something like that, and throw that into VR or something.
Wow. So someone has a heart attack in real life, they die in the game. Wow.
That's right.
That's real virtual reality.
Malcolm in the middle is not going to help you. Whatever his name is.
Oh, gosh. I was about to say someone's name. It's not right. Frankie Muniz. Is that it?
That's his name.
Yeah, there you go.
I was letting the audience figure it out.
Yeah, I get them that little extra but yeah. Oh, wow. So, Chris, what is your news this week?
So I have some exciting news. This is a little hits closer home to Sega. Did you guys hear about Wonder Boy, Asha, and Monster World coming to
Did I? Yes.
It kind of came out of nowhere. I don't know if anyone was really expecting something like this. 2019 and I guess maybe 2018. I can't remember the exact release dates, but it was like the year or time of the revival, because we ended up getting several different games from the series. We got all those again, in a couple of remakes. We had it was 2017. We had Wonder Boy, Dragon's Trap, and then the following year we had Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. Well, now we're gonna get Monster Boy, Asha, Wonder Boy, Asha in Monster World. The cool thing about this is that they're actually quite a bit of the original OG development team that's going to be on this. Of course, Asha was the main character in was it Monster World 4?
Yeah.
I always get these names so mixed up. It's or Wonder Boy 4. And
it was always a bad naming convention.
It's so hard to keep up with the naming. But that was
worse than
great
Ridge Racer
game that they had. So this is going to be pretty neat that they're coming out with basically a sequel to that Monster World 4 game. I'm pretty excited about this. It's interesting. The development team, it's called Studio Art Dink, and In Games are the main developers that are actually going to be doing this. But like I said, Nishizawa, who is the lead, director and creator of the original game, is on here. The original composer they have here, the original character designers, and other people are all connected to this. But it's not going to take very long before we see more of this game, because apparently A full gameplay reveal is going to happen on August 29th as part of the Gamescom Awesome Indie Showcase. It's going to happen at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday, August 29th. So I'm definitely going to be tuning in because I want to see more of this game. I'm really excited about it. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Actually, no, Scotty, you go first.
I mean, I don't have much to say. It's just cool that more of Wonder Boy, Monster Boy World Land is happening.
Yeah,
I've never been a huge fan of the series, and not for dislike, not because I dislike it, because I just don't have much experience with it.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
So did I miss? Did you miss a bit about the voice acting, or did I just miss that completely?
I did not mention anything.
Okay, so I think that's quite interesting because this is going to be the first game in the whole history of the series that will be fully voiced. And it sort of says that the announcement describes Asher and other characters as lively and talkative. And that is something I'm unsure about because some of these old game franchises, I like it when because you sort of grow up with them not having voices. You might hear them say a word when they get hurt, for example. But when it comes to them actually talking, that's sometimes you get ruins. Knights, for example, when they gave Knights a voice, it just kind of was, whoa, what is this? Oh my god, I felt like Knights was such a cool, mysterious character and didn't really speak and stuff. And then they released Knight's Journey of Dreams, and it was the acting as a whole was perfectly fine and reasonable. And I feel like if it's in another game, maybe it'd been good because it was a character I knew and loved. I was like, wow. So, yeah, I'm unsure about that, but it's going to be interesting. I'm actually happy to see this, though. I'm glad that they're sort of stepping on board again with seeing more of these games coming out because unlike Scotty, unlike Scotty, I was brought up on some of the Monster Boy games. Not all of them, though. Some of them, like the original the original Wonder Boy, which is like the proper, side-scrolling, jumping, getting on a skateboard, kind of going along. Was one of my favourite arcade games ever, and I got it on the Game Gear. Me and my brother loved it. My brother was really good at it. It's like one of those few games that my brother was better than I was. And then I had also the Dragon's Trap on my Game Gear as well. So when that came out, I was really happy with that. And I played a couple of the other ones. So the Wonder Boy Monster World sort of franchise has always been one of those ones that I've always been interested in, but never played all of them. So I'm excited for this. I think it's really good. So yeah, I'm all for this. I'm very excited. It's going to be interesting to see. I wonder if they're going to be able to do, turn off the voice acting or something, make it old school retro again.
Yeah, it's called mute.
I want the music, but I don't want the talking. We'll see. It might be brilliant.
I mean, not all first time iterations with voice acting were that bad. Look at Sonic Adventure.
I actually quite like Sonic Adventures. Absolutely, yeah.
I like Sonic Adventure. I'm saying that was a turn for the series in certain ways, and it had whatever.
The thing with that is
whatever. I'm just going to keep thinking about Tenacious D's song Wonder Boy. That's what it's based on.
Oh, that song always comes in my head every time I think of Wonder Boy. Actually, but on that Sonic the Hedgehog note, just a tiny quick thing. The thing with that is, I didn't mind Sonic Adventure talking and stuff. Even though it was the first for the game franchise, I'd heard Sonic speaking in the cartoon. So for me, I was kind of used to Sonic speaking. Same with Mario and stuff. I'd like Mario, the cartoon was out in was the 80s or 90s? I can't even remember when that was out. So yeah, I'd watched that as a kid as well. So when you hear Mario and Mario 6 go, "It's me, a Mario," I was like, "Oh, it's Mario. Yeah, awesome." And they didn't really speak in the game much, at all really, but he said a few things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is just going to be interesting, I guess. We'll see what happens to this. But Chris, are you excited as well? Do you care?
Yeah, it's my piece of news. I care. That's why I brought it up. I'm excited for it. Like I said, I think Monster World has a very I think it has a lot of potential to continue on in this style of game. It just looks so good. And I'm really excited to see with this game in the hands of the original creators, because The other two developers, God, I always forget their names, that did the last two games, the French developers, I think they set a really high bar.
Lizard Cube, was it?
Lizard Cube and...
yeah.
Lizard Cube.
Rage 4. Man, that's going to really bother me now.
.emu?
That's the one, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
.emu would publish the game.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But anyway, okay, long story short, what I was trying to say is these developers that were not the original, creators of this series, I think they did this series right, and they put it back, back in the minds of the game industry with these two very well done, games. I think that these Japanese developers now have a lot of pressure on them to take the series back in their hands. These are the OG guys. Now they're going to have to create a new game that's going to have to at least reach that bar that was set by Lizard Cube and the other developers. And so I'm just interested to see like what, how do they respond to this? Because you're starting to see some Western developers take on old school Japanese developed 8 and 16-bit games, and they're doing them pretty good. They're a lot better than, some people would say that Sonic Mania is the best 2D Sonic game, and it's hard to kind of fight that. So I'm just interested in seeing like how can they respond to this pressure from Western developers.
And just a quick update: Monster Boy was done by Game Atelier. That's the developer. Game Atelier. That's it. Atelier. And .mu did Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. And sorry, what did I say? No, Lizard Cube did one. Lizard Cube did Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. They developed it. .mu published it. And Nicalis was another publisher for that, and Head Up Games in Europe was the publisher for that. Anyway, there you go. Just to get that off the tip of your tongue.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's going to do it for this bit of news for this week.
Excellent, and that wraps up the news segment, and we'll be back right after this break.
I want to let you guys know that Megavisions has a Patreon at www.patreon.com/Megavisions. And when you're there, you can choose to get either a physical or digital issue of the magazine. We ship worldwide, so you can get one wherever you live. And if you subscribe to the physical edition, you automatically receive the digital issue as well. And we only charge your account when we're actually ready to ship an issue. So you don't have to worry about getting random charges that you don't understand why they're coming your way. We are very clear, and we let everyone know like the weeks leading up to when we're actually going to charge everyone's account. So anyway, please go check it out. Like I said, it's www.patreon.com/Megavisions.
Welcome back, and we're now moving on to our Picks of the Week, where we talk about movies, TV shows, or games that we've been playing or watching recently, and we think that you, the lovely audience, our listeners, our fellow gamers and movie watchers out there might be interested in watching as well, or playing. So, without further ado, Chris, my friend, what's been tickling your fancy this week?
Well, I have been watching a ton of TV and movies here lately, for the BSG podcast. But also my wife and I have just been watching a ton of shows because towards the evening, we just have a lot of free time lately. But we got into a new show called Lovecraft Country. Have you guys heard of this?
Yes.
No. Oh my God. It is insanely cool. So it's based on a book that's based on the Lovecraft works. But the story basically follows this guy named Atticus Freeman who comes home from the war, like in 1950s. It's like Jim Crow America, so it's very like volatile for Atticus and his family. He has an uncle named George who does an annual like journal, I guess, where he distributes to other African Americans. to let them know where the safe places are to travel, like with the United States. So he has like a very kind of dangerous job in of itself. But basically, Atticus, he comes home and he finds out that his father has gone missing, and all this just really, and he decides to leave and go on this trip to find his father. But at the same time, his uncle George decides to come with him because it's time for him to do a new, like his annual trip to try to find new places that are safe or maybe not safe for his book. And then in addition to, to Uncle George, this other girl who's like a local that lives in there and they've grown up together, she goes with them. But they just, they're searching for his father. All this just weird stuff starts happening, and it's very Lovecraftian. Like, like if you've seen a lot of the different types of like monsters and stuff in Lovecraft lore, a lot of these things are there. It's just super creepy. It's really well done. I love it. It's just got this really kind of cool mix between Lovecraft and horror and like 1950s, like civil rights era America. And it's a really weird combination. But it's done so well. Like the casting and the acting is very top notch. I would if you like anything, if this sounds like it might be up your alley, I definitely suggest you check it out. It's only 2 episodes have been released so far. I think they release every Sunday night, so it's probably in that like kind of Game of Thrones time slot there for HBO. If I didn't say that, it is on HBO. But man, if you can find a way to check it out, I definitely suggest it. Lovecraft Country is bad.
What are you watching it on at the moment? If anyone does want to watch it.
I mean, what do you mean?
Like, are you just watching it on TV, or are you watching it on a streaming service, or?
Yeah, it's like the HBO via Amazon Prime or whatever. We just use our Amazon Fire Stick.
Okay.
That way.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Cool. Yeah. Nice.
Update. I just got a Fire Stick.
Woohoo! Now you can watch.
I haven't set it up yet. It's been literally sitting in the box for a week and a half, but it's here.
What are you doing to me? So not like
I painted a goddamn fence over the weekend. I've done nothing.
And
else.
You should have celebrated with a lovely Fire Stick opening ceremony.
I didn't want to move. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds really good.
I'll add it to the list.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch that over here because hard to get. Oh, it might be. We have something called Now TV, which is run by a company called Sky, which often gets HBO stuff. So like Game of Thrones came out on there. So I was able to watch the last season of Game of Thrones basically the same time as it came out in America. So maybe this could be on there. I'll check it out and see if I can find it on Now TV.
Yeah, I think you'd like it.
You could probably update, quote unquote, your Fire Stick in a certain way to get it somehow, Graham, I'm sure. I
do not own a Fire Stick.
Well, there's your. Why are you getting mad at me for not setting mine up?
I don't need all my apps like on the Xbox, or I've got a Now TV stick, which has all that stuff on it already. So yeah, I don't have a Fire Stick. Mm-hmm. Oh dear. Yes, perfect. Scotty. Well, did you have anything else to say, Scotty or Chris, on that? Or
not really.
No, cool. Scotty in the Mo with Diamonds. How's it going?
Yep, that's my name now this week. So I bet everybody thought I wouldn't talk about Tony Hawk this week. You're wrong. Nope, we're not going to talk about Jack Black being possibly in the game. That's Go Google that, everybody. The documentary "Pretending I'm a Superman," the Tony Hawk video game story released. You can find it on YouTube, Google Play, and Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video. But it is this was not timed to release with the announcement of Tony Hawk 1 and 2 or anything like that. This was already in the works. So, but it's a documentary on the skater community and how they came together to put this game out and just destroy numbers and make a huge franchise. It's very cool. A lot of the info I kind of knew through different interviews and different just sources, and kind of always being a fan of the series and stuff. But it was cool to have everything together in one movie, and it was just really cool to hear how in a community where it's very easy to be like that, damn the man, like don't sell out and all that stuff. They still it helped skating, and it was just insane how it affected. It's a feel good documentary. I won't say how far it goes into the franchise, but they did touch on Tony Hawk Ride and Tony Hawk Shred, though. Wow. Anybody remember those where you had the actual skateboard peripheral?
I remember that. I never
vaguely. I think in my head I was picturing someone on a skateboard peripheral, but yeah, I couldn't remember it.
Yeah, I tried it. I didn't. Well, actually, no, I didn't ever try the game. People tried to trade them in forever at GameStop, and we never took the skateboards in. Never. Wow. So we had like $2 and $3 games that people could buy and not have the skateboards for. I did almost break my neck on one of those stupid things. Big surprise! It was for an unboxing video. But it was for an unboxing video for Sonic Colors. Anyway. This is a cool little documentary. I have been watching. This isn't going in my picks, but I just wanted to let people know I have started watching High Score, the video game docu-series on Netflix. Not sure how I feel about that yet, but maybe next week it'll be a pick. I don't know.
I've had a lot of people message me on, just that are on Facebook. They're like, "Oh, you'll like this." The problem with I watched the trailer and the interviews are fine. The production and stuff of it looks great, but it just looks like the same interviews that we've been doing for like the past 5 or 6 years. Like you've got Tom Kalinske, you got, you got the guys from Nintendo or EA. It's just the same people are talking about the same stuff again. I don't know what this documentary has going for it that hasn't already been done, a dozen times by now.
It's more easily available to the public since it's on Netflix. That's really it. Because I mean, Megavision's reviewed the Not for Resale documentary recently, and the creator of that even said in like the behind the scenes stuff, like they started out thinking, let's do a documentary on video games, but then they were like, how in the world do we possibly cover that in one movie's worth of a documentary? So it makes sense that this is a docu-series. But I don't want to. I've watched 1.5 episodes, so I don't want to say that I can recommend it or not yet. But I have learned some cool stuff in it. But tailoring back to, I just mainly wanted to mention that because I'm sure someone will ask us about it if we don't mention it this week since it just came out. But pretending I'm a Superman is cool and fun, and I recommend it to anyone that enjoys that stuff, or maybe doesn't even care about those games, but to just kind of learn like how crazy. It was a big impact on the video game industry. And what was funny is when... Oh, shoot! I didn't even mention that I played ESPN Extreme Games. I did try that out and stuff that I got back in my haul. But it was funny because I was looking up stuff for that, and it wasn't mentioned in the documentary, but stuff I found for that game was like... This was pre-Tony Hawk, so this was the only, like... Other than 720 and Skate or Die, like you had ESPN Extreme Games where you raced on skateboards and stuff. There wasn't really any extreme sports type games yet. And I'm like, maybe that's why I thought this game was so awesome back then. I can talk more about that another time. But Pretending I'm a Superman is fun. It's cool. It's not the best documentary I've seen, but I enjoyed watching it.
Nice.
So
awesome.
Check it out.
Cool. So my pick of the week, and I'm wondering if this is actually available to you guys in America, but it is a Netflix made movie, or like as part of, I don't know if Netflix commissioned it or they just happened to. It's basically it's a Netflix original movie, called Eurovision Song Contest: The Story of Fire Saga. A, have you guys heard of it? And B, is it available? Dude. Okay, good.
This is the thing with Will Ferrell, right?
Yes, that's right.
Why the hell wouldn't a Will Ferrell movie be available in America?
Because, do you know what the Eurovision Song Contest is?
No, I had no idea. I didn't know what this was about or anything.
So that's the thing. This is a massive thing in Europe and even Australia as well, which I'll explain in a second. But for the audience at home, like especially for the American audience, I guess, because you probably wouldn't know about it. Every year since, I actually have to double check when it first started.
I was just laughing at your bullet points because the second bullet point is funny. Just the word funny.
So the Eurovision Song Contest is a real life thing that started in 1956. So it's very old now. Wow. It's like nearly 70 years old, like 64 years old or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, it's been going on a while. It is literally a song contest. That's lots of European countries get involved in, essentially, and there's there's like all the different countries, like the UK, France, Germany, like lots of main ones, and like who are in every year. So like England's always in it, or the UK is always in it, France is always in it, and there's a few other countries, I can't remember them now. They're always in it, but then there's other countries within Europe and also Australia who they compete essentially almost like an X Factor or The Voice style show. This is actually a really bad explanation for this, but they basically they compete almost to get into the Eurovision Song Contest. So have like a sort of Song for Europe kind of like deal where the different nations and like judges vote for the contestants to come in, and then eventually they have the final live show where it's basically broadcast at the same time across the whole of Europe and Australia, as I say, where we get to watch it. We also get to do like a live vote and stuff. So we call up, or if you've got an app, you can use the app to vote for your favorite nation and your favorite song. The only rule is that you can't vote for your own country. And there's also real judges as well. So when it comes to the scoring system, basically they all play the song. They all play, like the bands come up and they play a song and stuff, and then we do the votes, and you get the scoring system's a bit weird, but basically you get certain number scoring 1 to 12 that then gets allocated to each nation, each song effectively. And that's by the judges, and then the popular, like they call it the popular vote, which is basically the public's vote, then also gives them extra points as well to the song. Sorry, this is a really bad explanation, but basically it's like a really. You just say
it's a music game show where people compete.
But it's not a game show. That's the thing. It's just a fun big almost concert, like almost. Okay, it's like that's the worst way of describing it. Though, if I sell something as an American Idol, it's like an American Idol. Screw it.
It's a pageant. It's a pageant.
Okay, that'll do. It's a pageant. There we go. But
yeah, it's a talent show or whatever. Yeah,
it's like a talent show. But the fun thing is, the songs they do are always so different. And it's sort of, do you know? I assume you know who ABBA is. Like, do you know ABBA? Please tell me you know. Good. So like they were one of those acts that were really big. And they made Eurovision like even bigger as well at the time, because it's like those fun, catchy songs they do. And there's loads of like sort of weird, just fun songs that come out of it. And then you also get some like really different songs, like some more sort of slower songs and ballads. You also get some really heavy rock music that come out of there. Like, have you heard of Lord? I think it's Lordi or Lord. Is it Lord? I can't remember how you pronounce it. They're this rock metal band who like wear like orc masks and stuff and like look really kind of creepy and scary. They were big, they were big in the early mid 2000s. I can't remember.
I'm sure they toured with Gwar.
They might have done. I don't know.
How do you spell it? Do you know how they spell their name?
I think it's Lordi.
Oh, yep. Okay, found them.
Yeah, Lordi. They're a Finnish rock metal band, and yeah, they surprisingly, I think they won it one year. They actually won it in 2006 with Hard Rock Hallelujah. And yeah, it's a great event that happens every year. And Netflix made this movie called Eurovision Song Contest: The Fire Saga story. The story of Fire Saga. Sorry. And it's a Will Ferrell comedy with Rachel McAdams. It's got Pierce Brosnan in it, and some other people. And it's basically Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams they're playing Icelandic like a pair of Icelanders. How do you pick? So people from Iceland,
ice climbers, ice climber brothers.
Wow, and from a young age, they both wanted to be in the Eurovision Song Contest, and they grow up. And they're like in their sort of late 40s, and they've made nothing of their lives. They keep trying to make music, and they come from a small town, and everyone hates them. Like, well, they don't hate them; they think they're a big joke. But through a series of events, they actually get to be the participants to represent Iceland at the Eurovision Song Contest, and they have to go through like stages to like get into the final. And I thought it was a very fun movie. It's not the most hilarious movie out there, but I did find it very fun. It really, especially if you've watched Eurovision in the past, because it kind of does take a piss out of Icelandic people a little bit, which you might think is a bit on the nose, especially like in the modern climate, as it were. But they actually take the piss out of everybody, like not just Icelandic people, but because I've been to Iceland. Iceland's amazing. It's such a lovely country, and the people there are amazing. But they take a piss out of the UK people. They take a piss out of Americans. They take a piss out of like Russians and stuff. I just thought it was really funny. And like, there's a funny joke basically for the UK in like the last 15 years or so. We've done terribly in this contest. There was a period where we're actually quite good and we got good scores and stuff. But as like, basically, it seems like that. Basically, most of Europe seems to hate the UK, especially with Brexit and stuff happening. And there's just like a couple of really funny bits. Like this guy's like introducing them to all these other Eurovision Song Contest participants, and basically he's sort of saying, "Oh yeah, this is the UK guy, UK girl even. Sorry, yeah, she won like Britain's Got Talent or whatever like recently, and she's pretty good, but everyone hates the UK, so she's not going to win," sort of thing. Like. I don't know, there's just lots of funny things like that in it. I thought it was really, really fun, really entertaining, and yeah, I feel like for Americans, if you don't know what the Eurovision Song Contest, this is almost the perfect example of how to get into it. And the reason why I kept mentioning Australia before was weirdly, and I still don't know how this happened, weirdly, Eurovision Song Contest has been really big in Australia. Like they watch it every year, like millions of people in Australia watch every year. And it's weird because it's on such an awkward time for them. Like it's on a sort of our evening, which is like basically the middle of the night or very early morning for them. So it's not an appropriate, good time, but they've watched it so much over there, and like it got broadcast to so many people over there. For the last 3 or 4 years, Australia has had an entry in the Eurovision Song Contest. So they've actually had representatives from their country to sing in the contest, and they've done pretty well every year actually. But it's just like a really weird thing that like it's only open to European countries really, but now Australia's in it, which is fantastic. And the winner each year, the winner that wins in that year, the show is then held at that country, in that nation's country. So if the UK won it, we'd hold it, for example, and then if France wins it, it'll be held in France. It's a really good thing. It's been going on, as I say, for like over 60 years. It's really good. And the movie as well, I found very entertaining. I'm so sorry. I'm really bad at explaining things.
You wonder why we don't understand your feature ideas sometimes. I'm just busting your balls. But no, so after that fucking encyclopedia entry of what this thing is, you could have said, it is the Olympics combined with any talent show or American Got Talent, whatever garbage, with the voting or not the voting, but with like how the countries are quote unquote competing agast each other.
Yes,
it sounds
there you go
like that in that respect. So
you just summed it up nicely.
We can boil this whole section into like a 10-second clip.
I feel like I need to make better notes.
Honestly, I think I zoned out like halfway through your explanation, and then I came back, and I don't even know why Chris was laughing, but I started laughing. This is why we don't do the show at night, I guess.
You said maybe I need to take better notes, and his second bullet on his notes is funny.
I've still got that camping hangover. That's what's happening right now, and it's nearly 2 a.m. here. So just so you know, it's nearly 2 a.m. Oh wow!
I love you.
Yeah, and also, do you know who Graham Norton is at all?
Yeah, he's a douchebag.
Right? Whoa, hey, you calm down this.
No, there's plenty of shit that's come out recently saying that he's a total asshole.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that then.
Yeah, I've enjoyed his show in the past, though.
Okay, well, douchebag or not, he in real life he is the they eat blah, 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 blah. I don't have to long explanation again, but basically each broadcasting country has their own, I guess, not narrators, the wrong word, hosts almost, like talking throughout the show, like talking about the acts and stuff in your native language. So for the UK, for the last like 10 or 15 years, Graham Norton has been that person. So he's actually in the movie as well. And the great thing about Graham Norton is, as he's doing like his commentator, that's the word, as he's doing the commentary on Eurovision in real life, he always has these like sarcastic remarks and like digs at like the different countries, and also the UK like people just makes fun of like everything that's going on. Like if someone's got a ridiculous costume on, he'll make fun of that. And in the show, he's basically doing the same thing. And I think it's a lovely touch they added him in. And also, if you really are into Eurovision, they actually have a lot of cameos from real Eurovision winners and participants from the recent years and stuff, which I thought was also a really nice touch. There we go. That's my really long explanation of a movie I think people might enjoy. Wow. But yeah, if you don't know,
like Anchorman, Mean Girls, James Bond, here you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe even a bit of Pitch Perfect in there as well. I feel like that's a movie that might represent it, because that's a movie about singing in competitions. And I'll shut up now.
There you go. All right. So edit all that so that all you say is Olympics, Pitch Perfect, Graham Norton. Funny.
Brilliant. There you go. Wow. Yeah, and I guess that wraps up our picks of the week. And
picks of the week
would normally go on to our feature, but this week we're doing something a bit new. We have no feature. That's partly down to my camping hangover and not being prepared enough to actually set something up properly for us. So blame that on me, I guess. So if you love listening to our features, please let us know. But for this week, we're actually not going to have one. So we'll be back.
Cut it.
Hopefully with a normal schedule next week, and more alive, and hopefully I'll be able to communicate a little bit better off and on air. I don't know. But is there anything else to add, chaps? At all?
I just, you know what, Graham, you impressed me with the old college try on this one. You've been out living in the woods, and you've just, like we were saying before, I think you've just kind of succumbed to your baser instincts, and you've kind of reverted to the old ways. And so just coming back in here and doing a podcast with all this technology, I think your body's just in a little bit of shock.
That could be it. I'm not used to looking at a screen, that's for sure. It's a bit weird.
Sorry, we don't have any apple cider here. I'm sure it was hard. Oh man!
Wow.
No, I by the time this is out, we may have released the Dreamcast Dreamless 24-hour marathon schedule.
Ooh.
That is a big thing, and plan your day around it. And we're giving away a Dreamcast to the most active and longest person in the chat. And I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on. We'll see who's better at Quake 3 Arena Online, me or Graham. Who knows?
It's gonna be you. I suck at that game so much.
All right, well, don't tune in. Forget about it. It's done.
Although, maybe I'll practice. I'll probably get a few hours practicing against the bots, which are never as good as real players. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah,
I do recommend practicing that though. But yeah, we're doing that. Raising money for Extra Life. Gonna try to get $500. Maybe beat a couple of other. I will say, look at the schedule, check those out. There's different tier goals for our donations that will play certain games if we hit those goals. Sonic Shuffle's back again, so if we can raise $666, people, we'll stop everything and play that godforsaken game.
Oh no, we'll do it. But my God, that was painful last time
for the kids.
Yeah. Oh, well. Okay.
Otherwise, we do our regular ads in between, so I got nothing else unless you guys do.
I'm good.
Excellent. Well, that will wrap up the show for this week. Hope you all enjoyed it. As always, let us know what your thoughts, any feedback, any comments, whatever. Just get in touch. We love it. So, yeah, catch you Catch you later.
See ya. See ya.
That's me.
Because doing that for 3 years straight. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. You guys see that? You guys see that? Your G Fuel, is it going to focus? Oh, good. Yep, turn off. That's what I wanted.
Your G Fuel shipped?
Your G Fuel has shipped, you son of a bitch. Soon you're going to be sucking down Sonic's peach rings.
Oh, that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that stuff. All the kids are talking about it.
We're going to keep Sonic's peach rings where they should be. And I'm not putting them in my mouth.
Missing out. Fortnite, Fall Guys, Sonic's peach rings. That's what everybody's talking about.